1973, an episode of the critically acclaimed police story featuring Dickinson generated high ratings for NBC. Executive producer David Gerber approached Angie on the set of Big Bad Mama to ask her about a spin-off series starring her.
And he said, "Come on, why don't you do the show?" And I said, "Oh, God, are you kidding? It'll be like this, 12, 14 hours a day." And he said, "Don't you want to be a household name?" I did it. I wanted to be a household name.
Knowing he had grown used to having Mrs. Bacharach at home, Angie consulted Burt.
Yeah, I did. I made him make the decision. Clever of me.
She could become even more famous through the medium of television. She could make a lot of money. Go for it, Angie. Do it. Do it. That's how I think, was my reaction.
I said, "You're going to have to decide." And he said, "Oh, well, hell, it'll be over in a couple of years. Go ahead." Not many people thought it would be a success.
We were a smash from the beginning. We were almost immediately, in our first year, we were in 50 countries around the world. And we were #1 even in Abu Dhabi. I mean, seriously.
Fancy meeting you here, Sergeant.
My name's Eve Dennis.
But you tell that to all the girls. Well, I'm going to tell them different. Cop.
Angie's natural combination of sex appeal and guts finally found a regular home Friday nights at 10 and found an audience of both men and women.
I've heard a lot of police officers express themselves saying, "Hey, I always wanted, this is the job I wanted to be a police officer since I was a little boy." I didn't hear a woman say that until after the Angie series and Policewoman series, and it was interesting to hear women coming into law enforcement saying, "I always wanted to be a police officer."
3 years after Policewoman, Charlie's Angels would present crime-busting women as bimbos. Pepper Anderson never hesitated to show off her figure to bust a criminal, but her character still merited respect, even from real cops.
And this highway patrolman stopped me, and I got out of the car, and he used to stand over there, and he's looking at me, he's giving me your license, he looked at my license, and he studied it for a while, and he didn't even look at me. He says, "Do you know somebody named Pepper?" And I said, "Very well." He said, "Well, I'm just going to give you a warning this time."
It seemed that everyone loved Pepper, except husband Burt Bacharach.
Angie got very, very hot in her career with Policewoman, and my career started to dip a little. So we go to the racetrack. Angie definitely was more popular than me then, had become that. Everyone wanted her autograph. Maybe 20 people would ask for her autograph, 2 would ask for mine.
Angie enlisted friends to help keep the spark in her faltering marriage.
One time I got her for, it was either her anniversary or her birthday, I made stroganoff and put it in a real pretty casserole dish. I made up some things to put in her freezer so that she could come home and have a romantic dinner.
Despite producers' efforts to keep Angie's hours to a minimum, her home life with Burt fell apart.
It was impossible. It was horrendous. And I didn't balance it. He flew the coop. And I can't blame him.
Angie and Burt separated in 1976, midway through her second season. NBC kept moving Policewoman to draw viewers to other nights. The confusion eroded audience loyalty, and the show got the axe in 1978. Although Pepper cemented Angie's place in popular culture, Hollywood's obsession with youth could have made it the last high point in the 50-year-old actress's career.